exciting stuff there. But we are energized and excited to be here this morning and glad that you are all here to join us. We have our ADSs and our ADS liaisons with us this morning. We are moving forward and we have our rocket ship theme as we are ready to blast off and get started with the year. All in all for our hashtag Aldine Forward. So again, thank you for being here with us this morning. Up on the left-hand corner, we have our Twitter account there. So if you're not doing so already, please follow us on Twitter and feel free to tweet out some great things that are happening this morning. Below, you're going to see the link for the sign-in sheet. So I'm going to ask that everyone click on the sign-in here and go ahead and sign in, please, at this time. I'll give everyone just a minute to sign in using that sign-in link. So Katie's put the presentation in the chat. And if you access the presentation, you'll be able to access the sign-in link from the first slide in the presentation, where it says sign in here. All right, also on this first slide, we have our Q&A link here. So if you click on the Q&A, you can access the Q&A document. It is here, and we have different pages. If you'll notice, each tab here is one of the topics that we're presenting today. So we have leading the mission. If you use this arrow here to scroll over, state assessment updates, training schedule, ADS professional evaluation, HB 4545 updates, ADS of the month, and support and resources. So you can use those, scroll over through those pages. And if you have any questions throughout the training, you can, over here on the left side, you can click on the Post-it note and feel free to type and add your question. We will be answering those questions throughout the training. Okay, so after today's training, after our kickoff training this morning, ADSs will know the ADS team, valuable resources and support for you guys, understand your roles and responsibilities, and significant changes to the state assessments for 21-22, and be able to lead specific tasks related to assessment and data at the campus. So that is our goal for today's training. All right, we are going to get started. We have our ops plan. We have our little rocket ship theme. We are blasting off, and we are starting off with our agenda here. Our agenda is, take a look over here on the left side. Each topic that we'll be reviewing today is linked out to that specific place within the presentation. And then on our right side, we have our training norms, and our training norms were actually developed by our ADS leads as appropriate for all. So we have be on time. It's important for all of our trainings that you are on time, especially with the virtual trainings, because at the start of the meeting, we have sign in, and we are putting the link to the presentation in the chat. Be productive and focused. So please make sure you're accessing our trainings, our virtual trainings from an appropriate device so that you can actively participate. We also ask that throughout our trainings that you have your cameras on. Okay, so if you don't have your camera on at this time, please turn your camera on. We have built in some breaks, so please know there will be some breaks that are embedded in so that should you need to take care of personal needs, you will have time to do so. Be collaborative and supportive. We are here to support each other, build each other up, and support one another. So we want to make sure that we come with a positive, solution-oriented mindset. And be considerate of the audience. So we have quite a large audience today, and when we have our virtual trainings, our audience will be even larger in size. So that's why we have that Q&A document. So again, if you have any questions, please utilize that Q&A document. Okay, let's see, leading the mission. So I didn't even introduce myself, but I am Rachel Haller, the Director of Testing. And here I have Katie Gomez, the Program Director of Testing for State Assessments, as well as Cappy Mitchell, the Program Director of Local Assessments. So we make up the Student Assessment Department. We also have our ADS leads helping us to lead this mission. And over here on the left, we have Rebecca Munson, who oversees our primary and elementary campuses. Scott Murphy, who oversees middle school. And we have Stephanie Hall and Mitzi Engelhart working with our 9th and high school campuses. And we'll hear from the team here a little bit later on throughout the presentation. Okay, at the bottom of the slide here, I have a link to the site for ADSs. This is our site that is dedicated to you guys, to our ADSs, and this is where we put anything and everything and house it here so that you have everything you need to be successful in your role as an ADS. We start off here on the home page with our contact information. Newly added this year, we have virtual office hours. So please feel free to register and join us on Tuesdays or Fridays from 2 to 3 for our virtual office hours. We're here to support you, and we will be glad to do so. And we have these hours dedicated to you guys, so please feel free to sign up. Here we also have our department calendar and resources available. This is our Google Calendar, our department Google Calendar. We post all of the trainings here as well as our assessment windows. Later this week, we'll be sharing this calendar with you and your principal. So please know that that will be helpful. Okay, and then we have meet our team a little bit, get to know you, our ADS leads here at the bottom. On the left-hand side, these pages are dedicated to topics that we oversee, and so they're here to be helpful for you. So anything that you need is available here. Please know that while we get new information from the state and as we get started into the year, as soon as we have 21-22 information, we'll update certain pages accordingly, okay? So that gets updated once we get that information from the state. I wanted to highlight a few pages for you, starting with Decision Ed. I know that you've been receiving emails from John with available Decision Ed reports. ADSs, you guys had a chance to meet John, for those of you that don't already know John, at the taco luncheon. And he has been emailing and sharing reports via Decision Ed. Please make sure that you utilize this page for access, if you need access and further support, or reach out to John or one of us and we can support you with Decision Ed. The expectation for those reports is that you're pulling those reports, you're familiar with those reports, and you're sharing that information with your campus leadership team, okay? We also have a page dedicated to the new Texas assessment vendor. Okay, Katie will oversee our transition with Cambium Assessments. And so this page is dedicated with all information related to Cambium Assessments. Also, STAR TELPAS. We're going to look at that in just a minute, but there's a page for the STAR and TELPAS practice and release tests here. And lastly, I wanted to just touch base with one more page, credit by exam. For those of you that are getting questions on your campus about credit by exam, please know that there's a page here dedicated to credit by exam. If you have questions about credit by exam, please reach out to Capielle. She oversees credit by exam. We have the test administration dates, the windows, the deadline dates for the information that has to be submitted in order to have the child registered, the submission forms, flyers, that all this information is here. Okay, so if you have, again, questions about credit by exam and you're supporting your counselor or your campus with a parent that is interested in their child taking credit by exam, please reach out to Capielle. Okay, good stuff. So hopefully you've had a chance to review and peruse the site and utilize that because it is here with lots of resources and materials for you. Okay, so you guys are also leading the mission on your campuses, and a fun way to introduce ourselves, if you want to, if you will, click on the Padlet link here. We have an introduce yourself Padlet. Oh, good, you already found it, Miss O'Neill and Alicia, great. If you'll put your first and last name and your campus or campuses that you serve, and then just share a fun fact. I'll give you a couple minutes to post something, post and introduce yourself here. Capielle said she's addicted to YouTube. I'm sure she's not the only one. I put a picture of my dog, Rocky. He's a standard poodle and he is a mess. And so he, we boarded him over the weekend and he somehow ate a bolt off of his cage. And that's pretty much sums him up to a T, but. Katie, I love this tractor picture, your daughter, Alexandra, that's so cute. Farm life. If you don't know how to add to Padlet, there's a plus sign down at the right-hand corner, bottom corner of the screen, and you just click on that plus sign and you can add there so that you can introduce yourself. Oh, here they come. Oh, I love the bowling. Nathaniel Peak, I love opera. One training we are going to get you to sing for us. It's amazing talent. We've got lots of travelers and readers. Oh, Marquise, I love it. Donna, you cannot post that picture of this cake. It's breakfast, it's yum. Poetry and, oh, baking cakes, awesome. I love it, they're all coming in quickly now. Capielle, you have another YouTube person here. Taishika, excuse me. Oh, that's so sweet. I love the ocean, the moving ocean. We still have some more coming in. I'll give it some more time. These are great. Thank you guys. These are great. Great way to introduce yourself and share something with the team. Yep, I can't live without Amazon. We love Amazon. Eduardo, I love the saxophone. It's awesome. Those are great. Those are great. Thank you guys for sharing. That's awesome. I love it. Susan, I don't think you're alone with the football season. Awesome. All right. That's fun. Thank you guys for sharing. That's awesome. And you guys, again, you are leading the mission, the ADS mission on your campuses. And it's good to be here with everyone, and we'll get a chance to collaborate throughout the training. Okay.
All righty. I enjoyed that Padlet activity. I like seeing all the fun uniqueness that this group holds. So I think we'll keep going back to it, right, throughout the kickoff today, Rachel, and just highlighting some of the cool things that we saw. I am Katie Gomez, and I'm the Program Director of Testing, supporting state assessment. Happy to be rejoining this team for my second year. And yeah, so again, I'm happy to see everyone. And, you know, even via camera, we're so thrilled to see your faces, and we appreciate your participation, and I'm very excited to read about all of the fun facts and the uniqueness that this team brings together. Of course, our one unifying quality is that we are all serving as ADSs, ADS liaisons at our campus, and we are going to spend some time diving into that role and discussing the value that it truly holds for the campus and the students that you serve. Before we do that, let's take a step back and consider a broader view. And as we're taking in this broader view, I'm going to ask that you just grab a scratch sheet of paper and a pen and jot down some words, phrases, or ideas that resonate with you as we take on this broader perspective here for the next few minutes. So I'll give you just a moment to grab a scratch sheet of paper and a pen. And again, just be ready to jot down a few words or phrases that stick out to you. able to jot down a few words or phrases that resonated with you. Again, we all hold a very critical, important role as the assessment and data specialists at our campus. And it's important for us to step back at times and just consider the broader view, the bigger perspective, the greater organization that we serve, which is Aldine ISD, our mission, our vision, and what are the goals that are really anchoring our work. So let me get back to our slide deck here. I'm going to ask that you now enter those words or phrases that you wrote down while taking in the view here on a word cloud generator, and you can access it by clicking on the link provided on this slide. So if you would just for a moment click on that link, and there should be a window that pops up giving you an opportunity to enter in responses. And I'm going to showcase what you are submitting, those words and phrases that stuck out to you that are a part of our district's mission, vision, and strategic priorities. Are we able to see that word cloud that's producing before our eyes? Focused, rigorous, choices, pathways, guarantee. It's awesome how it keeps changing too with the responses that you're given. And I know word clouds aren't new, but if you're not familiar, the words that are bigger represent those that are being submitted more often. So it's interesting to see, you know, which themes, words, phrases are resonating the most in your minds right now as you're thinking about our district's mission and vision and priorities. Okay, wonderful. This looks great and a lot of variety. I'm actually really surprised with all of the variety. I wasn't expecting the cloud to be so big. So wonderful. Thank you for your participation. We're going to pull that back over to view here in just a little bit, but right now let me get back to our slide deck. Okay, so we took a second and we stepped back and we considered our district, the district that we serve, the mission, the vision, the strategic goals that anchor our work. And now we want to bring to light the ADS roles and responsibilities. So focusing now on our specific position. This roles and responsibilities document is not new. It was shared at the end of the year / beginning of this school year to all those assuming the role. It is lengthy. It is lengthy in that ADSs do a lot of work, right? And they do a lot of work, not just building up the campus culture and doing all the responsibilities as assigned by the principal, but they are the one true person dedicated to overseeing assessments and serving as a data specialist at the campus. And so this roles and responsibilities document is broken down into those two big aspects of the job, which is being the data specialist and overseeing assessments. We won't pour over every single line here, but I don't want you to click out of the document right away. Keep it up, keep it open. And if you haven't taken the time yet this year to really just take it all in and then make sure that you have some understanding of everything that is included in the document, please do so soon. You know, I'd say before the end of the week. And then please know that our meetings, our trainings, the leveled meetings that are hosted by the leads, the ADS leads, they're all designed to support you in this work. So there may be something on this page right now that doesn't make sense to you, that you're not quite sure what that means or entails. And just know that more information will of course be coming, and you're always welcome to reach out to us with questions. So, but we want to keep this in front of us right now, because let's link the two things that we just took time to consider. Let's link our specific roles and responsibilities as assessment and data specialists with the organization's mission, the vision, and strategic priorities. Let's blend those two. Let's marry those two ideas together. What we're going to do is we're going to break into smaller groups. And in our smaller groups, we're going to spend about 10 minutes doing what I just described, marrying those two concepts together. So if everyone will access that broader view group activity slide deck with me, the very first slide explains the goal for this activity. So each group, when you get into your breakout groups, you'll need to identify a recorder, someone who's going to do the typing on their group member slide, a spokesperson, someone, should your group be called upon to share, that is ready to go to share out on what the group brainstormed together. And then everyone collectively should make sure that all voices are heard and that everyone is participating to their fullest. So again, as a group, I want you to think about those 5 strategic priorities in our mission and vision that we just went through with the broader view activity. I'll also display here our word cloud, which kind of summarizes those big themes that spoke to you the loudest when we were taking in that view. Then as a group, you'll select 2 strategic priorities. Okay, there's 5 of them, so you're going to pick 2. And for each strategic priority, consider this question: how can I contribute to this strategic priority in my role as the ADS through my specific roles and responsibilities? And that links out to the document that we just showed that has a big long checklist of most roles and responsibilities associated with the ADS. So how can this strategic priority, how can I support this strategic priority through my work as an ADS, through my specific roles and responsibilities? Okay, you'll answer that question for 2 selected strategic priorities as a group. And then you'll report out on what you selected in your thoughts on a slide that's dedicated to your group. So if you scroll down, you'll see that each group, pay attention to the group that you're sent to when we send you there, has a dedicated slide for you to type your responses in. I do have one example here just to bring to life this activity in case there's a little bit of confusion. So again, the goal is to pick 2 strategic priorities and then talk how you specifically as an ADS can contribute to that priority. So in this example, the first strategic priority is mission-driven leadership. And how can the ADS contribute to mission-driven leadership? It says, I can serve as an active member on my leadership team at my campus. Okay, pretty simple. Second strategic priority is community engagement and outreach. That was the second one selected in this example. And how can the ADS contribute through their roles and responsibilities? I can make new ways, I can make use of new ways to help families access and understand test results. Okay, so just 2 examples there. I hope those help you and your group members as you're selecting your priorities and identifying specific ways that you as an ADS can contribute to those priorities. Right, we're about to send everybody off to breakout groups. I am going to remind you that the word cloud is here. So let's just take one more second. Maybe you want to just take a look at some of those big words that stick out, some of those themes that resonated with you all as you were watching about the mission vision and the strategic priorities. Maybe that will help generate some ideas for this activity. All righty. Okay, we're going to go ahead and head to breakout groups right now. And we'll take about 10 minutes. And when we come back, we'll hear from a few groups. And I'm excited to see the work that you do and the thoughts that you all have in connecting our organization's foundational mission, vision, priorities with your work as an ADS. Let's go ahead and head out to those breakout groups. All right, so going back to our Leading the Mission Broader View group activity, I want to thank the groups. I want to thank all groups for participating in their discussion and selecting strategic priorities and then specifically addressing how the ADS can contribute to those priorities through their roles. I also want to thank the groups that were selected to speak out and to share their examples with everyone. So we heard a lot of great insight, especially related to how the ADS as the data specialist can contribute to these priorities through their work in supplying and facilitating data conversations at the campus level. Back to our slides here. On the same topic of data and keeping the bigger picture in mind, we do want to take this opportunity to quickly review our current accountability system, being that the ADS in their role as the data specialist should have some foundational knowledge and understanding of what the accountability system entails, and also know where to access data associated with the accountability system. So our current accountability system used to rate schools and districts in the state of Texas is broken down into 3 domains. Domain 1 is entitled student achievement. Domain 2, school progress. And domain 2 actually has 2 parts to it, part A and part B. Part A being academic growth and part B being relative performance. And then domain 3 is closing the gaps. Going back to the domain 2, because there are 2 parts, the domain 2 score is actually obtained from the better score of either part A or part B. Whichever part yields a higher score, that becomes the overall domain 2 score. And then an overall rating for each campus is determined by looking at all 3 domains. 70% of the rating comes from, again, either the better of domain 1 or domain 2. So back to a better of the 2 options. If the score for domain 1 is higher than either part A or part B associated with domain 2, then the domain 1 score prevails. If part A or part B in domain 2 is higher than domain 1, then that specific component of the accountability system prevails and is added to the score. And then 30% of the overall score comes from domain 3. So domain 3 is accounted for every campus, no matter what. Schools can access the most currently released data tables associated with the 2021 school year's accountability at texasschools.gov. And so we do know that accountability, the issuing of ratings was paused for the past 2 school years due to a declared state of crisis due to the pandemic. However, data associated with accountability was still released and published for the 2021 school year. So by going to texasschools.gov, campuses can type in their campus name and select it. And then here they have access to all sorts of data associated with a specific school year and with the specific domains, domains 1, 2, or 3. For example, if I click into domain 3 here, then I see an even more detailed breakdown, all of the components that make up domain 3 here for Nimitz High School. I can click into that and get a little bit more information. Here's an overall data table. By selecting dig into the data, we have an even greater detailed data table that helps explain the calculation of a particular domain score. At the elementary and middle school levels, each domain is a score for each domain is able to be calculated looking at specific data. So domain 1, which is again is entitled student achievement, is associated with STAR performance. So that score is strictly associated with STAR performance. For domain 2, part A, academic growth, that score is calculated by looking at academic growth in STAR reading and STAR math, which are 2 subject areas that are tested every year between grades 3 through 12, or 3 through EOC, excuse me. Domain 2, part B, relative performance, again, is looking at overall STAR performance across all subject areas and grade levels within the campus, but specifically with a lens on economically disadvantaged students. And then in domain 3, closing the gaps, again, STAR performance is heavily associated with that domain, as well as EL proficiency, which that score comes from TELPAS ratings and results. At the high school level, the breakdown looks very similar. However, high schools also have the added component of CCMR, college, career, and military readiness scores, and that plays into each of the 3 domains. Also, graduation rates are a part of the domain 1 score, as well as the domain 3 score. And lastly, also associated with leading the mission through our role as data specialists, we're excited to release again the Inquire Data Workshop Series for this school year, 21-22. This is a continuation of the workshop series that was started last school year. This document provided indicates the titles of each workshop series session, the date, as well as the objectives through that session, what the ADS should be able to know, understand, and do. We ask you now to just take a moment, being that it's the beginning of the year, and we'd like to assess where you believe you are at as an ADS in terms of being that data specialist at your campus by selecting the link to take our BOY survey. So it's just a few questions long, but please be honest in your feedback, and that will help us gauge where, as a group, our ADSs are at in serving in that data specialist role. Let's go ahead and complete that survey now, and then we will go into a 10-minute break.
Okay, welcome back. We should all be coming back and back on cameras, videos back on. I'm going to do the same as soon as I can figure that out. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right, welcome back. Go ahead and share. My screen is shared. All right, we're going to start off with some state assessment updates. We're going to start with our STAR updates video. This was shared with ADSs via the newsletter. So ADS liaisons, this will be maybe the first time that you're seeing this, but let's go ahead and view the updates here. So those are, that was a video with all of the STAR updates for 21-22. Additionally, click and go on. Oop, hold on 1 second. We have additional state assessment updates that we've previously shared with ADSs. If you click here, it will link, it's linked out to a document. And so what we wanted to do for you is put all of the updates for this year and actually beyond this year as well in one central spot so that you could review and make sure that you share these updates with your campus and your leadership team. So this is just for you to house all of the information, the updates in one central spot, because we have been getting, updates keep coming, and we will probably could get more updates, right? So the first, if you click on the document, we've started off with the changes in state assessments with the new vendor information. All of that's listed here. And remember, there is the page dedicated on the ADS, the site for ADSs for Cambium. Okay, we know that we have, this year we're transitioning to the Cambium assessments, and we have now one vendor for all state tests. Please know if you see Pearson here and there, that's because they are still involved with test item development and test form construction, okay? There are new processes and systems for ordering materials, registration, granting user roles, accessing reports, and we've listed here all of those systems with their acronyms. So there are a lot of new acronyms for us to get to know. So we have the learning management system where you access your trainings, or the LMS. TDS, the test delivery system for the online testing interface. TIDE, that's your test information distribution system where you're going to manage your online tests. Data entry interface, DEI, okay, where we would transcribe student responses, and we'll look at that in more detail at a later time. And then you have the CRS, the centralized reporting system, where you can access, get access to student assessment results and reports. Okay, there's also the secure test browser, the secure browser needed to access online tests. Okay, so those are lots of new acronyms and names, and you've already gotten a chance to, for ADSs to partake in the campus testing coordinator training and get familiar with what all of that looks like and the new platform that we have. Okay, so that's there for you. In addition, we know this year we have the standalone field test in February. I want to bring your attention to the window. The window, TEA just recently updated the window, so it is now February 7th through the 18th. Those of you that were selected to participate, because it's not all campuses, received an email and your principals received an email. Please know there will be additional communication forthcoming with the update of the new window, as well as campus selection. So if you are already selected, you will still administer the field test. But for my elementary campuses, please know that all elementary campuses will participate if they are administering the Spanish version. So if you have Spanish testers, so that will be for everyone, even if you weren't on that initial list. So that's new. Okay, and I'll send out detailed correspondence with you and your principals before the end of the week. Okay, so from the video, we saw that we have returned to pre-COVID testing windows, and we have the calendar linked here, TEA's calendar. This is also on the site for ADSs. So we can see that we no longer have those lengthy 5-week testing windows that we had before. We're back to generally a 2-week window, okay? All right, we also have we know that for 2017, reading language arts TEKS are going to be assessed. We have linked out this document.
Writing's not that easy, but.
So you can watch that and review that. We know for this year, we have an increase in the number of cross-curricular passages on the 3 through 8 reading language arts STAR tests. There's no longer a 4 and 7 writing test. We didn't administer Algebra 2 and English 3 in the past, but that's not an option anymore. That's gone away for EOCs. And we know that there's no longer the retesting taking place in grades 5 and 8. Okay, so they just have their one administration in May. Okay, so that's kind of a lot of new there. Okay, what's not changing for this year? Graduation testing requirements. There have been no changes there. And the revising and editing multiple choice embedded field test items. Okay, they will still be embedded on the 3 through 8 reading language arts tests. Okay, so there's no composition component to 3 through 8 reading language arts STAR tests. Okay, there have been some updates with interim assessments. There are 3 windows. We will utilize 2 of those windows, and we will provide you with more information on STAR interim assessments during our training on for STAR interims. Okay, so that's to come, but there's that information there. Okay, and then looking ahead at next year, changes to testing in 22-23. We already know that we are going to see the STAR redesign, new item types, And if you click on these links, it'll take you to the actual new item types, and you can practice and go through and look and see what that looks like. Please take time to do that and share that with your campus team and your skills team so that they can see what that's going to look like for 22-23. Okay, and then by the time we get to 23-24, we can expect 100% of passages on the 3 through 8 reading language arts STAR test will have the cross-curricular link, okay? So again, this is good information all in one place for you with updates to state assessments, and you can go back and share that with your campus leadership team and your principals and your skills so that they can hear what's coming and what changes are there, okay? Okay, state assessment updates continued. So we are, as you know, transitioning to Cambium assessments. CAI account activations, please know that you will receive an email with your new user account before the end of this week. Katie will make sure that you all get access, and it will prompt an email once she gives you access. The email I want to say is from an address like no reply. So just be looking for that. It's easy to kind of overlook and miss. Once you get the email, you will want to sign up for your account within a certain time frame. I think they said 15 minutes, but should you not respond within that time, there's additional information and you can still register and get your user account. Okay. So if you do it right away, there's one process. It's a fairly simple process. It's not hard at all. But if you get it and access that, you get the email and you try to set up your user account after the initial time, then we have this document here for you. And this is, Katie's prepared this specifically for us, for Aldine ISD, and our processes that we will have when it comes to Cambium assessments. And section 3 here, it links you directly to activating your account and logging into the system. Okay, so there's additional support there should you need additional support. Okay, but again, that email will be coming before the end of the week, and that will be getting you set up with your user account. Additionally, though, in this document, there is more information. And should you want to review and look ahead, you're more than welcome to. Some of it will be review based on the training that you've already attended for campus testing coordinators, but a lot of it there is laid out and we will address it in future trainings. Okay. Okay, state assessment updates. We have our STAR and TELPAS practice and release tests. We shared this information in the last newsletter. We have these 2 documents here that have been created for you, additionally for you to share with your staff as needed, so that they're here to support you with answering these questions and supporting your staff with accessing the practice and release tests and your students, and as well as updating Chromebooks. So please utilize these, make use of them. I'm going to click on this one here. If you notice, it will bring you to don't have a secure test browser, and it will take you right to the login. But we really want to emphasize the importance of accessing these practice tests and tutorials through the secure browser, practice and release tests through the secure browser, because as we found last year, for those of you that are returning, that is our way to make sure our devices are checked and ready to go. So if you want to have that, know that your devices are going to be good to go for STAR, we want to access these through the secure browser. Okay, but there is that other option there. So device readiness was a important way to check, an easy way to check device readiness is, again, to go through the secure browser. Okay, you're going to sign in as a guest user or have your students sign in as guest users. And then it'll take you through selecting your grade level, your test, your attributes. Additionally, on here, if you look down at the bottom on the left-hand corner where it says click here, Katie's created a document for you that will just walk you through the steps of what it looks like. So launch the secure browser, or here's the website or web page, excuse me. Click on the practice test login. You're going to log in as a guest, and you've got every step here. Choose your grade, select your test. There's STAR and TELPAS both. And then it will continue on with what else you need to do to access which test you want. But there, it's all there, the steps. And hopefully you've already accessed these and are familiar with what that looks like. And so this will help you share that information, this document, as well as these with your campus staff, okay? There's also information here on updating Chromebooks. Again, we get multiple calls on the Chromebooks and updating of Chromebooks, and there's that information here, so you can share that too. Okay, so we're trying to make it easier for you guys. In addition to those documents that are available, we have a campus plan for STAR and TELPAS practice and release tests. So if you'll go ahead and open that up. And take a look at this plan. Our goal is to support you with having that plan for STAR and TELPAS practice and release tests, and working with your leadership team to get that plan together so that we know that we are providing opportunities to our students. So if you look here, this is a plan that you will, the expectation is, again, for you to get with your administrative team and submit this by September 30th, okay? And you work to complete that together, okay? There's some things to consider as you're developing your plan and working with your team to consider what that's going to look like. And then some questions here. And then at the end, it does require your signature and your principal's signature, okay? And so we haven't shared yet, but coming will be your campus folders, and this is for ADSs, your campus documentation folders. So this will be something that gets submitted via that campus documentation folder, okay? Okay, so good stuff. We hope that's helpful. Again, that's going to be submitted by September 30th. We will have shared the campus documentations folders with you by then. And if you have any questions, please reach out and let us know. Okay.
All righty, let's take a moment and test our knowledge, see what we have learned so far. We are going to do an activity called Time to Climb. So if you would please access the link there provided on the slide entitled Time to Climb. And I'm going to wait until I see all of our players here. You'll be asked to select a nickname and to select a persona to take on for our activity. So we're going to wait for all of our players to connect. There's 88 of you guys on this call, so there should be a lot of little space critters here on the screen before we get going. All right, you guys are coming in, awesome. We just have a few questions here. All of the questions are regarding the updates to state assessments that Rachel just went over. Some of the questions are more easily answered after you completed the CTC overview webinar, which is available in the LMS. This was included on the training schedule, and or required training, a webinar to complete an LMS. The deadline was August 27th. So we hope that by now everyone has actively viewed that training and taken good notes. We're going to wait just a few more minutes for our participants to log in. And again, so with the knowledge that you've received from that CTC overview webinar and the updates that Rachel just went over, these questions should be a breeze. Let's see.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, yes.
Hi, it's reached its max participants.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, thank you for letting us know. So if you can log in, great. If not, please just jot down your answer, to the questions as we go through the activity. Thank you. On my end, the max should be right at about our number right now. So I'm not quite sure why you're getting that message. And I still see just 40 people have joined. So I apologize, but we're going to wait just one more minute and then get going. Alrighty, so for those of y'all that have joined and for everyone else, you can just participate by writing down your answers. Let's go ahead and get started. And you should be able to see the questions on your screen. Can I get a thumbs up? You can see the questions and how to respond to them. Okay, good. Awesome. All righty. Each question is about, you have 30 seconds to reply.
Can you continue to share for those that are not in the game?
Yeah, yes, I can. Let me do that. I've got the leaderboard here up on my screen as well. You all are able to respond pretty quickly. That's a good sign. Talked about this one. Is it better to use the secure test browser or the conventional browser for the practice test? Our leaderboard is jumping around. Okay, which of the following is not an update to STAR for this year? Peak, also a new ADS at Hoffman, and Teresa Powell, who has years of experience taking in third place. So awesome job, congratulations. I'm going to share with you all now. Since not everyone was able to log in and access, I'm just going to share again the questions that were asked, and we can quickly talk about the answers. So the first question was, what is the name of the new vendor for the state assessment program? The answer being Cambium Assessment Incorporated. You'll also see that as CAI abbreviated. The second question, TIDE is the system that will be used to, and the correct answer here is manage students for state testing. So all registration, assignments of test attributes, all of that will happen in TIDE. Which system will be used to access trainings provided by CAI on new systems? So we're looking here for the new training system, and that is the LMS, the Learning Management System, which everyone should have accessed by now and taken advantage of the CTC overview webinar, along with a few others listed on the training schedule. True or false? It is best to have students access the new STAR and TELPAS practice and release tests using a conventional browser rather than the secure browser. And the answer here is false. It will be very tempting to access the online tests via the conventional browser because they're just a click away. However, accessing the online practice and release tests via the new secure test browser allows you to make sure that your devices are truly ready for testing when we do participate in an actual assessment. Okay. All of the following are updates to STAR testing in 21-22 except, so the one non-example here is that STAR testing windows will be 4 to 5 weeks long. They are no longer as long as they were last year. We are back to a 2-week window max for STAR testing. And STAR redesign will take full effect in, the answer here is 22-23. That includes the completely full transition to online testing for all students, as well as new item types and just kind of an overhaul of the assessment layout, as Rachel went over earlier. True or false? This is a tricky one. You had to watch that CTC webinar. True or false? Pre-coded answer documents will be available for 1 more year, that being the school year. And the answer to this is false. We will no longer be using pre-coded answer documents. We are transitioning to a pre-populated label for paper assessments this year. So the answer there is false. So those were our questions and a review of the answers. So thank you for participating on your own or by selecting a character. So that was, we hope that was a little fun activity just to review the changes in assessments that we've talked about so far. Okay. Next, briefly, we do want to emphasize our training schedule, the student assessment training schedule. This was made available to ADSs, to principals, not only through our monthly newsletter, but also in emails sent out. If you have not already done so, ADSs, liaisons, please access the training schedule. Determine when you are a required audience member. So ADSs, you're required for all of them listed. Liaisons, you're required for some of the trainings, not all. So for those that you need to attend, you are able to go ahead and sign up in PowerSchool in advance by selecting the link that is included in the day and time of the training. So for example, today's kickoff, you were to select that link, it would take you directly to the registration page in PowerSchool after you select your account for an easy, quick way to sign up. PowerSchool registration is important for 2 reasons. A, we use PowerSchool, you use PowerSchool to collect basically a growing list of all of the trainings that you've participated in throughout the year and have access to certificates associated with those trainings. We also take attendance in PowerSchool. We do, when we are able, take a look at the registration roster in PowerSchool before trainings to determine who has not yet signed up, but who needs to be there. So please, if you haven't already, this is a list, this is an item on your to-do list before the end of the week. make sure that you sign up in PowerSchool and you place on your calendar all of the required trainings that you need to attend. And again, we do emphasize required trainings. Note that some of them are face-to-face. This year, we have incorporated not only our data, a growing data Inquire data workshop series, but we've incorporated also some Cambium assessment workshop opportunities in which we'll gather face-to-face to prepare for state assessment. So, okay. Just a quick note here, the data workshop series, those sessions are to be held face-to-face, and they should be as much as possible by level. So middle school, being that you're in the middle, we opened up some space for you to attend not only in the morning, but also, I'm sorry, in the morning or in the afternoon for those data workshop series sessions. And we'd like to ask some middle school ADSs to go ahead and switch your registration from morning to afternoon if you can, please, just to even out the groups a little bit. Okay, and our training or meeting norms for all of our trainings will be those that were developed by our ADS leads, those that Rachel reviewed at the beginning of the training today. Be on time, make sure that you're in a position to be productive and focused, fully engaged, be collaborative and supportive, and be considerate of the audience. All righty, I'm going to turn it back over to Rachel.
Okay, so for our, Katie, do you want to keep sharing your screen? Thanks. For our ADS performance evaluation, this is for our ADSs. What that looks like this year, we have our smart card and our component summary. That hasn't changed for those of you returning from years past. In the past, your principal should have already shared the smart card and component summary with you. Please know that we are still being evaluated under INVEST, as T-TEST is for our instructional professionals. We are transitioning to that eventually, but for this year, 21-22, we are our performance evaluation is under INVEST. Okay, so we're going to follow and align with our smart card and our component summary. This year for 21-22, there is the removal of Part B. So what that means is that ADSs will not submit a SLO, an SLO this year. Okay. And again, this is probably review information for you. Your principals, I'm sure, have already communicated this and shared this information with you, but I just wanted to go over it so that you could hear it from us as well. Okay, so there will be no SLO. Okay, so what that will look like is that the Student Assessment Department will provide performance data points to your campus principals. So those are the same data points that we've used in the past, and there's some examples listed below. So training attendance, adherence to deadlines, professionalism, participation in CBPLs, testing irregularities, and so forth. Okay, so those are a few listed there. And again, our department, I will share that with your principals, and that will factor into your Part A, because again, there is no Part B as to you will not be asked to submit that SLO. Okay.
All righty. So now we're going to dive into House Bill 4545 and just a few updates. Give me one moment as I share my screen. Just as a review, you know that House Bill 4545 mandates accelerated instruction and an accelerated learning committee. For our AI, remember, just a review, it's for the students who were not successful or who didn't participate in Spring 21 STAR for grades 3 through 12. And remember that we are, you pulled that report and you provided it to your campus leadership team because those students will need to receive 30 hours of additional instruction this particular school year. On top of that, for the ALCs, remember it's for our students that were enrolled in 3, 5, and 8 last school year, but they're now in 4, 6, and 9, with the exception of any students that were retained. If that is the case, remember we are to have an accelerated learning committee. Just a few updates. One thing I do want to thank you, first of all, for assisting your campus with this process because it is something that is new and many people have lots of different questions. We are working through everything, all of the new updates. We're trying to make sure that we're communicating as best as possible. But I do want to draw your attention to our ADS site that Rachel shared earlier. Everything that has been presented, all of the new information is on the site. So please make sure that you are accessing that because new information is updated probably on a weekly basis. Along with that is the campus action plan. Last week, it was updated to include our accelerated instruction plan that is to be completed during your ALC meetings. And again, those only for those students that were enrolled in grades 3, 5, and 8 last school year, as well as the teacher-led AI submission form. And I'll get to that in just a moment. One thing or two things that I wanted to point out on the campus action plan. I pointed out last week, some of you were in the meeting and some not, but for those students that did not participate in STAR in the spring, if they were at or above grade level for M-Class or Renaissance at the end of the year, or currently now beginning of the year, you do not have to provide accelerated instruction, nor do you need to hold an ALC meeting. So that has been updated. Along with that, someone emailed me about, and I think it was someone in this group, we have updated the ALC meetings or extended the deadline to December the 6th. And that is because we do know that at the 9th grade level, there are lots of ALC meetings that must happen. And because of that, we felt like it would be fair to extend that deadline to all grade levels. So if you are holding ALC meetings, we will communicate that the deadline has been extended to December the 6th versus October the 15th. So that's one new thing. Another thing, going back to the actual updates, again, last week we had the campus check-in for our campus administrators. And I did, again, go over the AIP plan, as well as reviewing accelerated instruction. One thing to note is accelerated instruction for our students that were unsuccessful, again, grades 3 through 12, if they're utilizing any of the programs that you'll see on the screen, then we have a decision ed report that will be generated. So there's no need for anyone to track anything, keep a spreadsheet, because if the students are logging on, it will automatically be pulled into Decision Ed. However, for those students who were offering extra tutorials, Saturday school, extended day, we do have the teacher-led submission form. And this is a question pro. I don't know if your principals have shared that with you, but it's a question pro. All the interventionist or a centralized person needs to do is actually go in and complete the necessary information. You can submit up to 25 students at a time as long as you have access to their 6-digit student ID number. Again, this is for teacher-led. So if you're doing something outside of the program-based interventions, then you're going to actually put it in the teacher-led submission form. And then we also have the AI tracking video to help you navigate the form. Okay. So those are just a few updates. Now, one question is, can we see the tracking? What does that look like? Because I will be the one that's responsible on my campus to report how many hours a student has. That is in the works of being finalized. Once we get that all together, because we don't want to give you piece by piece, we want to be able to make sure that we are showing the full process. Once that it happens, then we will come back and share that with you. So you have the full picture of how to run the report and how to communicate that to your campus leaders as well as to the teachers. Okay, so that is it for the updates. One thing that I want to see is we're going to go back and do a Padlet activity, because some of you may be getting some questions about what do we do about this particular student? What do I do about this particular student? Before we do that, though, I want to ask some of us are doing some amazing things on our campus with House Bill 4545. And I do know that as those things are coming in, we're trying our best to make sure that we incorporate that into our best practices folder for 4545. But I do know that Monica Phillips, she's on, and she mentioned to me some things that she was doing on her campus that I wanted her to share with the group. So Monica, if you could please come off mute for us.
Sure. Okay, so what I have done on my campuses is I've created a folder for each student with their I don't know if you can see it, with their label on here, and it just says House Bill 4545, the student's name, the 6-digit ID number, who the teacher is, and what grade level it is. I've done a folder for 4th and 5th grade. That'll be the end of the process folder. When we have to put everything in the student's CUME folder, then it's already there. Anything they do throughout the process, they know they're gonna put any type of paperwork in there. I'm holding on to the parent letters and the meeting letters in an organized binder. So at the end, they'll get that back from me because I don't want them to lose it, but to organize it in those folders. Like I said, anything that comes up that they need to, it's kind of like a little portfolio folder for the students. And also I found this real simple certificate generator. So it does come in color as well, but you know, some of us don't have color, but it's just a Shining Star Award, and it says Shining Star Award presented to whomever this child is for completion of 30 math AI hours, and I have one for reading as well. So the teachers get a copy of this as well, and they just make a copy when the student completes their hours. Just a little, you know, moment for the kids to have something.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Monica. That's it?
Yeah, and as far as the meetings, my teachers was like, what do we say? What do we say for the parents? So I kind of went down the agenda on the on that form that they have to fill out, and I kind of did it like a little script for them, so they'll know how to follow it, you know. So that's what this looks like right here, and it just simply says quick introductions, purpose of the meeting, and I told them what the purpose of the meeting is, so they didn't have to think about that. Review of assessment data, and then it has like a blank student name, did not pass reading, he or she scored whatever percent. Then I gave the teachers the talking point of, if a parent asked, well, what was the passing reading score? I gave them 53% for, and then that'll be 18 out of 34. Then I gave them also a scale. If the question get asked for the parent, well, my student made a 26%. Well, that means they only got 9 right now. You know, so it goes on through the math and the reading like that. Then they go into talking about what the intervention plan is. If the student met one subject, and also I gave them a plan if they met, if they did not meet one subject, or if they did not meet both subjects, that is kind of scripted out. And then we went into progress monitoring, how that would be done. And then teacher parent feedback and or questions. And then also discuss the 3-to-1 waiver. And then number 8, they would end the meeting with whatever they want to say. Thank you for attending the meeting and whatever, because they don't know, you know, what to say. So that was just a little help guide for them.
Thank you so much, Monica, for sharing what you're doing on your campus. And if any of you have anything that you're doing to make the process flow a little smoother, please feel free to reach out and share, so that way we can help each other, because it's new for all of us. But again, thank you, Monica. On the screen or within the presentation, you will see the Padlet activity that will take you to 4 questions. And I want to see if we can test your knowledge related to some of these things, starting with the first question. To respond to it, all I need you to do is simply click on the plus sign to add your response. The first question, you have a student who was an 8th grader last school year and now is in the 9th grade. The student failed both reading and social studies STAR tests. What do you do? And this is in relation to House Bill 4545. The second question, you have a 4th grade EL student that failed STAR grade 3 math and reading. What are the ALC requirements for this student? The third question, you have an 11th grader that failed the English 2 ELC last year and has still not passed the Algebra 1 ELC from the 9th grade year. What do you do? And then the last question, you have a newly enrolled 6th grade student who enrolled from Alvin ISD and does not have a score for the Math STAR assessment. What do you do? And then what should you do if the student is served under the special ed umbrella? Very good. I see your responses coming in. Thank you. Good. Thank you. Thank you. So just in case you're getting some questions from your campus leaders, for the first question, for this particular student who was an 8th grader last school year, now in the 9th grade, the student would have to have an ALC meeting to plan for reading, but you can address the student will also need 30 hours of AI for social studies. Good job. For our next question, our 4th grade EL student. For the EL student, an ALC is required. For the student, I see someone says to send home the parent notification letter. An LPAC representative must also be present during the ALC meeting. Very good, thank you. For our third one, our 11th grade student. Very good, okay. We would need our 30 hours of accelerated instruction for English 1, and then 30 hours, I'm sorry, for English 2, and 30 hours for Algebra 1. And then for our last student coming from Alvin ISD, an ALC is required, but happens in the ARD. If the student is special ed, then it happens within the ARD. Very good. Thank you so much for your responses. I do appreciate it. And now we'll move into our ADS leads. I'll stop sharing.
Leads, I'll share my screen for you guys. Give me just 1 second. All righty, ADS of the month. Let's hear about this from our leads. Go for it. Mitzi, are you with us? No, it takes a minute to access the mute. If not, Mitzi, will another lead jump on and explain the new ADS of the month program to the rest of the group?
I will.
Thank you, Becky. Go for it.
Yeah, so each month we
I'm
are.
sorry.
Oh, is she there?
I'm sorry, I was caught up doing something with the teacher. I'm sorry. What was I supposed to be explaining?
You're on ADS of the month. Take it
Okay.
away.
ADS of the month. Each month we will be given my understanding is it's the leads. Is it everybody or just the leads?
The leads will be nominating.
Okay, so we get our forms and we fill them out, and they take we have to list why under the Connect, Inspire, under all 4 of those things, Connect, Inspire, Impact, and no, it's just 3. We have to list the qualifications of the ADS, then why we think that they should be the ADS of the month for that. And then we send all of that in, and then the ladies pick. And it's, my understanding is 1 ADS of the month, and that's anywhere from pre-K through high school. And they pick, and from there, we hope there's a little, there's a little shout out. You get your picture put on the ADS site with your little name, your ADS of the month, and you know, a gift basket if Scott comes through with it.
Thank you, Mitzi. Yeah, we're excited to get this program started this year. Thank you for Mitzi for telling us a little bit more about it. So as she said, each month the leads will be nominating somebody at their level that has stood out in the areas of the Aldine leadership definition, those 3 pillars: connect, inspire, and impact. They'll be nominating their person and describing the specific ways in which their nominee exemplified connect, inspire, and impact. And so the more connections made there, then that will yield the ADS, the overall ADS of the month, which we will be so excited to celebrate on a monthly basis by highlighting that individual in a number of ways. So yes, thank you, Mitzi, for showcasing
I'm
that
sorry,
information.
I've been pulled about 6 different ways in the last 30 minutes, so I'm sorry for.
Tell them
being unprepared
your
there.
time is valuable right here with us right now. Okay, next topic. Becky, this is you.
Okay, so this shouldn't be new to most of us, and if it is for our new people, but we have in our drive, the ADS shares drive, and it is broken down into elementary, middle school, and high school, where you can put the folders, primary, sorry, also. And it's just any good practices that you use that you, you know, share so that if we're looking for something that we could go and we could get some help with Taupas, maybe how you organize something that you put it in there, and you can use their ideas. One thing is to make sure that you look at the document and make sure it fits what you need. So like, you know, some of them might come with different dates that they're doing something on their campus, or maybe they're doing something electronically and you aren't going to do it. Just make sure that it matches, or you then copy it to fix what works for your campus. So again, I think they left what was already in there last year. I think that they had have done, but that we keep making sure this year that we contribute and put in there as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Becky. Yes, this is a shared drive that is available to you now. So when you're in your Google Suite, you can select shared drive, and you should see the icon to ADS shares. We did carry over the items that were placed in the folders last year, being that they were quality items that could definitely be used to help you in your work this year. Please know that you know, what you're posting should be, what you're sharing should be something, like I said, of quality that would benefit others in their work at their campus. And we do like to go through and comb through the items shared in the ADS shares drive, and just highlight those exceptional items that are made available by fellow ADSs. So thank you. Thanks, Becky. And Becky, while you're talking, why don't you go ahead and share your specific information about the CBPLs, which is our new phrase for PLCs this year, content-based professional learning. Will you share with us your meeting arrangements for the elementary level that you serve?
Sure. So for elementary, we already had our first one, but I broke us down this time around into teams, kind of like how we're divided between the SASs. So we have an agenda, and we will, which each week we have a agenda that you can post something on the agenda. It doesn't have to come from me. So it can come from you as well. And then we just get into our CBPL and discuss the things that are on our agenda. And we're making sure that we take notes, and then making sure everybody can share that. And then if there's any questions that come up, I usually meet with Katie or Rachel, or now Miss Taylor, that I get answered, and then we have a question answer document that everyone can see. And those are on Thursdays.
Awesome. Thanks, Becky. For middle school, I know Scott wasn't able to join us today, but Marquise, can you speak to the middle school schedule?
We meet every Thursday at 2 o'clock, usually from 2 to 2:30.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And then finally, 9th and high, Stephanie Mitzi, do you want to add anything about your leveled CBPLs for 9th and high school?
With our Tuesday meeting is where all of our testing coordinators or ADSs are expected to be there. And we have a sheet with questions and answers on there that we share with the ladies in student assessments so that they can help us answer questions that we might not know the answers to.
Awesome. Thank you, leads. Yes, the concept of CBPLs or PLCs last year is what we called them, was developed by our leads group last year. And it proved to be so successful in supporting ADSs at all levels that they would do it anyways, but the leads are expected to host a CBPL at least weekly for the ADSs at their level. And ADSs, you are expected to participate in these CBPLs just as if it was another required meeting. If there's some sort of conflict, you need to touch base with your lead to make sure that they understand in advance why you're not able to be there. We will, on occasion, just as I did yesterday, we will share information specific to the levels through the CBPL meetings that are already on the calendar. Okay, so it is important that all ADSs are participating actively in those on a weekly basis. It's once a week. So make sure that you share that information with your campus leadership so that your time can be protected and that you're able to be there to participate fully. Okay. All righty. I'm going to turn it back over to Capiel.
All righty, let me share my screen once more. All righty. Now, just a few things to highlight. Remember that we do have our virtual office hours on Tuesdays and Fridays from 2 to 3. Remember, the link is within the presentation that you are to register so that we'll know that you are interested in attending those office hours if you have any questions that you'd like us to answer. Additionally, we do have some important resources that we feel is extremely important for you to benchmark. For example, the texasassessment.gov website that Katie mentioned earlier in regards to accountability. Also, the Student Assessment Division of TEA, that is an important website that houses lots of information and updates related to assessment, as well as House Bill 4545. Also, our site for ADSs, which Rachel reviewed earlier at the beginning of the meeting. Our DCCR, or our District Coordinator and Campus Coordinator Resources document, will be available soon. The calendar of events, it is linked here. It became available on yesterday, but that's a preliminary copy. It does not include everything, and we believe that it will be completed in its entirety, hopefully by the end of the month, along with the DCCR. And then our ADS Google Calendar, please make sure that you are checking that periodically to make sure that you are aware of the important dates that's to come. Our mission checklist, as we reach the end of our meeting this morning, you will notice that on the screen, there's a lot of to-dos. For example, we've already mentioned about you registering for the required trainings. Also, watching the video and webinar recordings. That was due, I believe, at the end of August. Also, completing your Cambium account. Remember to be on the lookout for the email from, it'll say no reply. And remember that you are to act fast. If not, then you'll have to go through another website in order to activate your Cambium account. Also completing by the 30th of September your campus plan for STAR and TELPOS practice on your campus. Please make sure that you complete that and upload it to the campus documentation folder, which you will receive before the 30th. Also utilizing the ADS Google Calendar and completing all of our 45-45 responsibilities and participating in our CBPLs that's hosted by our ADS leads. One thing that I do want to go back and highlight is for House Bill 4545, I did fail to mention that we do have our AIP plan, which principals were given on last week. So in the campus check-in, if you click on that in the process document, give it just a moment to load, you will notice, if you haven't seen it already, is the AIP plan. And this will be completed again during your ALC meetings in its entirety. This AIP plan is to be used for our students who fall under the special ed umbrella as well. So we don't have a different plan for students who will need an ARD. All we ask is that diagnosticians, as well as the committee members in the ARD, complete it and attach it to the ARD document to be placed in the student's legal folder. So again, that is linked within the presentation. Going back, we will go back and review our questions on the Q&A. I see some on the 45 updates, so I will respond to those accordingly. And if there's nothing else, we do appreciate your time this morning. Remember, ADSs, that we want you to blast off into the school year. And we're inviting you to come back from 1 to 3 for our first introduction into the Inquire Workshop Series. So again, thank you so much for your time this morning and your attention. And we will see ADSs back at 1 o'clock only for elementary, middle, and those serving 9th grade campuses. High school, you're off the hook for this first one.
Bye. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Quick note on the Q&A Padlet, guys, if you click into the sticky note that you typed a question on, we've been adding responses to your questions on the same sticky note that you typed into. Sometimes you can see it on the screen, sometimes you have to type into it. Click into it to see everything that's included on the sticky note, but we have been actively responding to your questions. So we want to make sure all questions are answered. And should they not be, don't hesitate to reach out. Just a quick note on how to find your answers on the Q&A document. Thank you so much.